Okay, 6E. When a rate is provided to change in only one quantity, must occur on the other quantity. So it's algebra. So if we've got $20 in 1 hour, how much do we make in 6 hours? We multiply that by 6, but we also have to multiply the 20 by 6, which makes sense. For example, if Patrick earns $20 per hour, that means in 1 hour, how long will it take him to earn $70? And so from here, from 20 to 70, we can get this by dividing 70 by 20. So we can do the inverse to figure out what that multiplication is. If you try that on your calculator, you'd get 3.5, and then go back and check it. 20 times 3.5, or 3.5, will give us 70, so we do the same thing on the other side. And as always remember to carefully consider the units involved in the question and make sure you're dealing with the same things and what they asked for in the answer, because sometimes it's different, sometimes it's weird. So Rachel can type 74 words per minute, which I'm going to write as 1 minute. How many words can she type in 15 minutes? So we're going to write that that's going to go to 15 minutes. So I multiplied 1 by 15. So I'm going to do the same thing by 15. And check this on your calculators. I think it's 1,110 words in 15 minutes, what we came up with. Let's do a quick calculation and see if that's true. Yep. So that one is simple because we had something that we could easily multiply to get to that one. I've left myself no room, so I'm going to just go away with that. It's on the video. B. Leanne works in a donut van. She sells 60 donuts every 15 minutes. 60 donuts on average. I think it says on average. In 15 minutes. So how long is it likely to for her to sell 800 donuts? In how many minutes? We don't know. So with your calculator right now, can you please divide 800 by 60? Good. So this is 13 1/3 or 13.3 recurring. That's how many 60s, sets of 60 donuts we need to get to 800. So we're going to multiply by 13. I'll write it differently over here, and 1/3. And we have to be really careful. I'll show you this way, and then I'll just tell you another way. Because if we're not careful, we'll just put 13.3333, and we won't get the right answer. So either we put in 13 ABC1, ABC3, because that's totally accurate, or we do that operation again, 800 divided by 60, and just leave it in there. It'll say 13.333333, maybe 4 at the end, probably not. And then we multiply that by 15. And that should give us, from memory, 200 minutes. If we don't have exactly 13 1/3, it'll be 199 point blah, 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 which isn't right. So 1/3 or 0.3 recurring is the most accurate answer. And finally, we have the question with the hoses. We have 3 water hoses filling a pool. The first hose could fill 1 pool, let me write it the other way around, in 200 hours. So this is going to take a long time. But we've got a second hose, and if it worked by itself, it could fill that pool a little bit faster. What is it? 120 hours. Again, that's to fill 1 whole pool on its own, if I've read the question correctly. And then the third hose can do it in 50 hours. Now, we're tempted to say, the question is, how long will it take to fill the pool if all 3 hoses were used? It's tempted to just say, well, if I added up 200 and 120 and 50, I'd get 3 pools. And I'll just divide that by 3. But that's not going to work. What we have to do is figure out the same time, because we've got different rates. So what multiple of 200 and 120 and 50 will give us the same amount of time? And I'm going to go ahead because this is one I prepared earlier. So this same hose, in 600 hours, it will take 600 hours. In that time, it will fill 3 pools, isn't it? If it were left to its own devices. 120 times 5 gives us 600. So if I use that hole, I'd get some more pools. You see how it's working a bit faster. And then the last one, to get 600 hours, what do I multiply by? 12, isn't it? That one's the fastest and can do 12 pools. So all of them added together, I'm not going to add the 600s because if I take 200, I've left myself no room. For the first hose, 200 times 3 gives me something I can work with. So I know it could do 3 pools in 600 hours. And I know that the other one, 120 times, 5 equals 600. So we've got the same amount of time, but these we can add together. 5 plus 3 plus 12 means that over 600 hours, with all of them working together, what is that? Is that 20 pools? We can get 20 pools. We want 1 pool. So we'll divide that by 20. We'll divide that by 20. Oops, 20. And what do I get? I'm pretty sure it's going to be 30 hours to fill 1 pool because they're all working together. And that's wildly different than if we added 200 and 120 and 50. So that's the way you do it. And this is the same for if you ever have questions about, you've got workers. There's another question about guys that will work and complete so much work and so much time. It takes them 8 hours to complete painting 1 room. It's a long time for 1 room. You always want to find, if they can do the job in a certain amount of time, how many jobs can we do and get to the same amount of time? In this case, it was 600 hours for those 3 pools.